But I very much want to, because we are Belgians. We are always in food and in drinks. So there are many similarities with the Vietnamese. Actually, we also like to drink and to eat. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting.
But I won't say that I'm not here, but I will say that I want to try to eat these things, because that is true. I really want to try.
Yeah, I think
We'll have ample opportunities.
Okay. Okay, so now let's start our interview today. Yeah, okay. So thank you for joining our talk show today. Dẫn luôn MC ạ. So wait a minute. I read here. Wait a minute. Yeah. Chào mừng quý vị đến với chương trình Thế giới sự kiện. Thưa quý vị, quan hệ hợp tác giữa Việt Nam với Liên minh châu Âu EU nói chung và Vương quốc Bỉ nói riêng thời gian qua có bước phát triển mạnh mẽ, vượt bậc, đi vào chiều sâu và thực chất. Trước tình hình thế giới hiện nay, các bên nhận thức rõ cần phải tăng cường hợp tác chặt chẽ để giải quyết các thách thức, vấn đề mang tính toàn cầu, đồng thời phát huy mọi tiềm năng, bổ sung lợi thế cho nhau hướng tới phát triển bền vững, thịnh vượng. Trong bối cảnh đó, đoàn đại biểu cấp cao Chính phủ Việt Nam do Thủ tướng Phạm Minh Chính dẫn đầu thăm chính thức Vương quốc Bỉ, tham dự hội nghị cấp cao kỷ niệm 45 năm quan hệ ASEAN-EU có ý nghĩa hết sức quan trọng, mở ra chương mới và đưa quan hệ hai bên phát triển lên một tầm cao mới. Không những thế, chuyến thăm Bỉ còn diễn ra tại thời điểm hai nước chuẩn bị kỷ niệm 50 năm thiết lập quan hệ ngoại giao và 5 năm đối tác chiến lược về nông nghiệp vào năm 2023. Chuyến thăm chính thức Bỉ và tham dự hội nghị cấp cao kỷ niệm 45 năm quan hệ ASEAN-EU của Thủ tướng Phạm Minh Chính đã thành công tốt đẹp, mở ra một chương mới trong quan hệ của hai bên. Để mang tới cho quý vị những thông tin cụ thể hơn về chuyến công du quan trọng này, chúng tôi hân hạnh mời tới trường quay ngày hôm nay ông Karl van den Bosser. Chị ơi, tên của bác đọc là gì ạ?
That was very good. That was actually very good.
Right, okay. Chuyến thăm chính thức Bỉ và tham dự hội nghị cấp cao kỷ niệm 45 năm quan hệ ASEAN-EU của Thủ tướng Phạm Minh Chính đã thành công tốt đẹp, mở ra một chương mới trong quan hệ của hai bên. Để mang tới cho quý vị những thông tin cụ thể hơn về chuyến công du quan trọng này, chúng tôi hân hạnh mời tới trường quay ngày hôm nay ông Karl van den Bosser, đại sứ Bỉ tại Việt Nam. Thank you for joining our talk show today. So, Vietnamese Prime Minister have an official visit to Belgium, right? So, what is the context of the visit?
Well, the context of the visit, the immediate reason for it was, of course, the big commemorative meeting between the European Union and the Asian countries. It's the first time in 45 years that such a meeting was held in Brussels, and so the Prime Minister, of course, attended the meeting. But he's a very dynamic man, I have to say, and he also took the decision to visit Luxembourg, Netherlands and Belgium, who together are forming the Benelux countries. We were among the founding fathers of the European Union. So I think there's a lot of exchange of information about working together in a regional perspective and in an international perspective, not only between European Union and Asian, but then on the bilateral level between Belgium and between Vietnam.
Okay, so could you please tell us the remarkable result of this visit?
There were many things going on. So the Prime Minister has met all our highest officials. The Prime Minister he had met, of course. He met our Princess of the Royal Court, who is leading the commercial delegations abroad. He met also Minister President from Flanders and from Wallonia. He met also the leading president from the Senate and from the Chamber of the House of Representatives. So he basically met all the main politicians of Belgium and also was witness to the signature of many important memorandums of understanding.
Okay, so how does the visit contribute to promoting Vietnam and Belgium cooperation?
As I said, the memorandums of understanding were signed in many different fields. They were signed in the fields of education, but also in the field of cooperation on clean tech and also on green tech. We have signed also a memorandum of understanding on the cooperation on the marine economy, the blue economy. So there are many new ways of working together for promoting also the trade to each other's countries.
Yeah, okay. I'm so happy if you can answer longer.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, then I can go a little bit more in detail. The MOUs that were signed on the clean tech and the green tech economy are very important for the further development of Vietnam. The Prime Minister had pledged in Glasgow at the COP26 for Vietnam to become a climate neutral country by 2050. And the MOUs that we have been signing are contributing to this. There is the MOU on the blue economy, where we work together for a better marine environment. This is related to a clean ocean, for example, but also to a better management of your waterways. There are other MOUs that have been signed. For example, the one with Deep Sea, and that one is our biggest investment here in Vietnam for the further exploration of the development of the ports of Haiphong and Quang Ninh. That is very important for the further development of the Vietnamese economy. It's also important, of course, for our companies. There was a very fruitful discussion between the two prime ministers. Took quite a while because there was many issues to discuss. We discussed the cooperation also on the multilateral fora. Vietnam and Belgium are both together member of the Human Rights Council in Geneva from 2023 till 2025. So for those 3 years, we are willing to cooperate together in the field of human rights, and we believe that that is a very valuable bridging of two different cultures in a multilateral platform. We also want to work together with Vietnam on the cooperation in terms of trafficking, fighting the international, transnational criminality, and of course there is the big cooperation with Vietnam on everything that is related to environmental issues, and that relates also to what then was signed during the EU-ASEAN Summit. Vietnam has signed a Just Energy Transition Partnership, GETP, with the European Union and the G7. So it all becomes one global and logical set of things that have been discussed to promote a better sustainable future also for Vietnam.
Okay. During the official visit, Vietnamese Prime Minister also attended the commemorate to 45 years of Asian AU, as you said before, right?
Indeed,
yeah, okay.
Indeed. And I'm gonna look a little bit because for that I had to look also what exactly what was delivered there, and it was quite a lot. There's a comprehensive air transport agreement. There are investments for more than 10 billion euros in the Global Gateway. There are dialogues on climate and energy, and there have been signed partnership and cooperation agreements with Thailand and Malaysia, a digital partnership with Singapore, and of course the Just Energy Transition Partnership with Vietnam. So Vietnam has really played a key role during this commemorative summit to mark, in fact, the commitments of the Prime Minister, but also of Vietnam as a country, to mark the commitments that have been taken at the COP26 in Glasgow. Now we take the next step. Vietnam will receive 15.5 billion euros to further develop measures in the field of green economy to fight climate change.
Okay, so how do you assess the Vietnam participation and contributions to the summit?
I think they were very successful. They were very successful in different ways. Signing the agreement on the energy transition is a big step forward. It's a big step forward for Vietnam, but it's also a big step for the European Union because we want to work together with Vietnam much more closer, not only on energy and on climate change, but also on a dialogue in the field of education or a dialogue in the field of security. And it's more than in the field of soft security. The European Union has less a tradition of weapons and more a tradition of discussion and dialogue. And in that regard, we want to work together with Vietnam and with ASEAN to promote the regional stability, the regional peace, and especially also the rule of law.
Okay, so over the past year, Vietnam and Belgium have made positive developments. So what is the highlight of relation between two countries?
There are many highlights, but let me say that we have had indeed, well, next year we will have the 50 years of relations between Vietnam and Belgium, and the relationship has steadily developed from a partnership in development cooperation into a partnership today in the field of energy, of climate, of agriculture, of transport and logistics. Because of the growth of Vietnam itself, Vietnam has become a middle-income country, and we are now focusing on working together as peers, hand in hand, to face the new challenges for Vietnam to become a higher-income country. That means that we will contribute to the further development of the agro-industrial economy of Vietnam. It means the cultivation, the preservation, the processing of food, but also the transport of food, and give them a higher added value so that it can be exported to the United States and to the European Union at higher prices. So we are working together on this.
Okay, so how do the two countries take advantage of opportunity from free trade agreement?
They do take advantage because they are gateways. Vietnam we consider being a gateway to the Asian economy and to the economy of this part of the world, the Southeast Asian economies. And of course Belgium is the gateway to Europe. We have the largest ports in Europe together with the Netherlands. And we have developed a very, very intense logistical network. So whenever you import in Belgium, you can get your goods delivered throughout the European Union in 24 to 48 hours, which is a very, very strong gateway to Europe. The same goes for Vietnam. We see Vietnam as a stable country and a fast developing country, and because of the free trade agreement there is more stability and more predictability in the bilateral trade. The next step we want to take is in an investment agreement treaty, and that has been signed, and we are now working on ratifying that treaty so that Vietnam and Belgium and the EU and Vietnam can invest in each other's countries in a more predictable way.
Okay, so it said that the current scale of economic trade relation between the two countries is not commensurate with the level of political relations and the available potential. So do you think what is the cause and what should the two countries do to fix it?
Yes. We have been fixing it. The free trade agreement is a big fix, I would say. That has opened up the opportunities for the years to come. So you have to give time to the free trade agreement also to allow companies to invest and to develop further trade. That will come. I am very confident of that. The second phase would be indeed the investment treaty. What I would think is a big point indeed, as you were rightly saying. We have very close political relationships between Vietnam and Belgium, and we want to bank on that to create more people-to-people contacts and to create also a stable environment for investments. It means that we want to count on the Vietnamese government to help our companies also to invest here in Vietnam. And the willingness is there. And now it becomes an issue of making the investments in the right sectors. You know, Belgium, we are a small country, but we are very powerful in very specific areas like offshore wind energy, like electricity, like wastewater treatment, but we are also very strong in pharmaceuticals or in agro-industrial industries processing food. So we want to help Vietnam develop those sectors much further so that they are able also to export high quality and high value products and services across the world.
Okay, so Vietnam and Belgium will celebrate the 50th anniversary of their diplomatic relation in 2023. So what events will the Embassy of Belgium hold to celebrate this anniversary?
I have to say that many countries will celebrate their 50 years. There are like 16, 17 or 8, even 19 countries that are celebrating their 50 years, so there's a huge competition. We will try to focus on a few specific activities that highlight the long-lasting relationship in specific areas. The areas of the clean tech or the areas of logistics, for example. We believe that we can focus on that. We believe that we can focus on that particular area. We are also considering a few cultural events, but I cannot say too much about it at this stage because I'm still looking for sponsors for that. What is also important to know is that there will be many more visits to come. We have a visit of our Queen in May next year in her capacity as a goodwill ambassador for UNICEF, the Child Educational Fund of the United Nations. She will visit Vietnam. That is an important visit also for us, of course, because it's our Queen, but she will promote the causes of UNICEF during that occasion. We're also looking into the possibility of a state visit by our King and Queen. We have to talk further with the Vietnamese authorities about it, but it is looking good for the next year indeed.
Okay, so what do you think about the outlook of our relationship in the future?
Very positive, very optimistic. I think our countries are very similar. Belgium is a small country with 11 million people, but very powerful in terms of economic, and also with a long tradition of working together with their neighbors and with the multilateral community. Vietnam is doing exactly the same. Vietnam is a bigger country, but it has much bigger neighbors even. And Vietnam has also the tradition of looking out, working together with everybody and keeping a balance in its relations. And we feel that there is a lot of similarities between Belgium and Vietnam, and we want to work together in this particular field, like I was saying already, in the multilateral field, to promote the rule of law and international stability, for example. But we also want to work together much more even to have Vietnam develop further its knowledge and its know-how of how the European Union is working, so that the ties between our both countries and between Vietnam and the EU can also become more closer.
Okay. Chị Hạnh hơi đủ thời lượng như nhỉ? Ok. Em dẫn MC cuối nhé. Okay. Dạ vâng ạ. Thank you for your sharing.
Yes.
Với bề dày gần nửa thế kỷ, quan hệ hữu nghị và hợp tác nhiều mặt giữa Việt Nam và Bỉ sẽ tiếp tục đi vào chiều sâu, ngày càng thiết thực, hiệu quả, góp phần tích cực vào hòa bình, ổn định, hợp tác và thịnh vượng trong khu vực và trên thế giới. Trong khuôn khổ chuyến thăm lần này của Thủ tướng Phạm Minh Chính, các thỏa thuận xoay quanh nhiều chuyên đề hợp tác thiết thực được ký kết chắc chắn sẽ tạo ra một động lực mới cho phát triển hợp tác giữa Việt Nam và Bỉ. Đến đây chương trình Thế giới sự kiện tuần này xin được khép lại. Xin kính chào và hẹn gặp lại quý vị trong các chương trình tiếp theo. Okay. So now, I hope you can give some congratulations to Vietnamese people in Tet Holiday. So you look at the camera, look directly at the camera.
Yes,
Yeah,
okay. Let me look first there.
Of course, yeah.
Yes. In the running up to the new year in 2023, the TED Festival, I want to congratulate wholeheartedly the Vietnamese people. And as Belgium has a culture of food and drinks, and I know that Vietnam has it as well, I am looking forward to taste your nem gian and your chung cake. So congratulations once more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much. I hope the pronunciation was okay.
Yeah, it's so great. Perfect.
Ok.